Hello, I'm Mark and I'm the Fundraising Relationship Coordinator for Sheffield Futures. Sheffield Futures is a young people's charity aimed at helping young people to reach their full potential and to raise their aspirations. When I was young, I never really knew what I wanted to do as a job or as a career when I grew up, became an adult. So I often picked subjects that I was interested in. I went to university and studied psychology with counselling because I was really interested in people. And during my time at university, I got involved with lots of different volunteering projects, from listening to people on a helpline to giving advice at the advice centre and many other different volunteering opportunities. And then through those roles, I then took on leadership roles, such as coordinator roles, even director roles, all as a volunteer. So then when I got my first job in a charity, it pulled all those skills together. It was delivering frontline services, supporting and listening to people that have been affected by crime. And then through experience, I then worked my way up and became a manager, changed different roles, moved to a different charity to focus on fundraising. I learned a lot from my peers and charity trustees, and particularly through networking and listening to others, and developed my skills as I went along, really. But I think in this role, you definitely need to be interested in people. What I really like about this role is the variety. No 2 days are the same. Um, I work quite flexibly to meet the needs of the charity. So if I have to go to an early morning networking or an evening one, I don't mind doing that, even if it's online. And I really like connecting with people, getting to know people, and building that rapport and relationship, um, and building your network. Because then once you've done that, who knows what will happen. It's not about going in from day one and thinking, what can I get? Can I get money out of you? Will you volunteer your time? And a lot of the work I do is around the business and corporate sector, so getting to know employees of businesses, employers, managers, business owners, and just building that rapport. Because if people like and trust you, they're more likely to want to support your charity. I also like having the freedom and the creativity to think about, how am I going to encourage people to donate, particularly in these difficult times. What I love about the role is when you've brought in some money, secured a Charity of the Year partnership, uh, asked somebody to make a donation and they have, or asked somebody to volunteer their time or to give in some other way, and they're all only too gladly to do it. And ultimately, it's making sure that you really connect to the cause, what your charity does, how it makes a difference, how it makes an impact, so that you know the money that you've raised and brought in will have a direct impact and make a real difference to the people that the charity help and support. And you get a really strong buzz from that feel good factor and that warm and fluffy feeling. I would say to work in fundraising or to volunteer in fundraising, you definitely need to be a people person. You need to like meeting people, like talking to people, both in person, on the phone, by email, by social media, and being able to build that rapport. And don't worry if you don't feel confident. That comes with time. I don't always feel confident, but you just kind of put a brave face on and just be friendly and be yourself, and then people will connect with you. So I think the role involves a lot of listening and speaking. So listening to understand who your potential donors may be, being able to speak clearly, to articulate what your charity does and why you need the support, and also to understand and to hear if a person or a company isn't able to support you or the charity at that moment. It's probably not because they don't want to or they don't believe in what you do, but it just might not be the right time for them. Also, having a positive attitude, a can-do approach, is really important, because you will get a lot of no's, and it's important that that doesn't put you off, but you take that in your stride, and it just motivates you to keep going. Being quite creative and having a problem-solving approach is useful as well. So you can pitch or encourage people to support your charity in different ways. So it's not just the same message that they may have heard hundreds of times from hundreds of different charities. Working for a charity, and especially in fundraising, is quite a competitive market. So there's literally hundreds of charities across the region, nationally, and of course, in these current challenging times, it's really hard because people's jobs are affected. People's job security is not as known as perhaps it was a year or two ago, and so people are understandably, both individuals and businesses, are cautious about how much that time they can give or how much money they can give to support charities. So it can be a tough ask and a tough job, especially at the moment. However, there are lots of different strands to fundraising. So, for example, event fundraising, and what we've seen in the sector, that's had to pivot to go online rather than do mass participation events where people meet up, like do sponsored runs or cycles or that kind of thing. There is corporate fundraising, which is the area that I'm in. So that's building connections and meeting businesses, individuals, from the corporate sector to try and get support, both financial and in-kind support. There is legacy fundraising. So when somebody passes away, they may leave a gift to a charity in their will. So it's about how you promote that in a very sensitive way. There's grants and trust fundraising, so filling in applications and being able to write about why your project or your charity is important, what impact it has on the people that you help, and therefore asking for money for that. So there's lots of different ways. That's just some of them, and charities are crying out for volunteers as well. So if you think this is a industry or a role that you might want to do in the future, trying to get involved with volunteering in the fundraising and charity is a really good way to start. So, my challenge to you is, think about a charity that you like, that you support, that you believe in. You may have given money to it in the last year or so, you may have volunteered your time, or you may just be really interested in the work that it does. So, what is it about? What are the two or three things about that charity or the cause that that charity helps that really resonates with you, that really strikes a chord, that makes you want to support them? And how do you, how has the charity asked you to do that? Or have you done that off your own back? So once you think about that, try and come up with a short message about how, what you can say to others about why they should support that charity, how their money will help make a difference to the people or the animals or whatever the cause is that they help, and why they should donate their money or their time. See if you can come up with a convincing pitch, and then why not try it out on your friends?